Good morning, guys. This is going to be a weird chip break. I left my house last night at 6:35 for a meeting at 7 o'clock with an accountant to talk about small business accounting and what we should be doing here, good practices, how to think about going forward. And I only got about an eighth of a mile. Basically turned left out of my little side street, and a truck flashed his lights at me. And I thought, okay, there's a cop ahead or something. And as I got, just a few yards further, I saw what looked like, an accident or debris in the road, and maybe a quarter mile away. And as I started closing in on that distance, I realized the debris in the road wasn't, a cardboard box or a trash bag or anything. And it was, not, if your stuff bothers you, you should probably not listen or just skip this video. It was the individual's leg. It was severed off about 8 inches below, completely below his pelvis. Motorcycle accident. I was, I think, about the third person on the scene. The two people there prior to, one had called 911. The other one was pretty upset. I hugged her to try to get her to stop, causing distractions, and I called 911 as well. I think the guy's gonna make it. His leg was in the middle of the road. He was about 30 yards down in a cornfield, breathing. I called 911 as well because I wanted them to know that it was life or death. Somebody else got a tourniquet on him. It was weird. He wasn't bleeding. The leg wasn't bleeding, and his stump wasn't bleeding. Apparently, he hit a road sign. It's pretty clear as what happened. I drove by again this morning. It's quite close to my house and work, and the sign is also damaged over, pushed over, and that's, I guess, what severed the leg off so cleanly. And I guess in talking to friends and a doctor, just trying to process all this, that can help because that can seal it off so his femoral artery wasn't squirting. Anyway, I didn't know what to do other than, I called 911, staying with them. So I just started, trying to verbally shout words of encouragement, like, we got this, guys. Some more people would come on the scene. Someone was directing traffic. Just clapping, we're gonna make it, you guys are doing great. And it was really interesting. I have all this time stamped because I was debating whether to run an errand. So at 6:35, I hopped in my truck and looked at the clock, and I was like, okay, I got time. And then at 6:40, I dialed 911, which was, I don't know how long after I'd gotten there, but something like a minute. And then I'd asked, it's funny, I remember vividly from a book, I think it was for economics, that a common thing that happens in catastrophes or accidents is everybody assumes somebody else has dialed 911. And I looked at the first woman who said she had dialed 911, and I looked at her and I said, I need you to repeat to me and tell me you called 911, and she did. And then I thought, well, who cares? It's just not worth it. I don't care if I'm upsetting or bothering the 911 operators. I'm calling 911 again. So I did. They knew about it. They knew it was life or death. Hung up. And then at 6:47, I called my wife, and I called my wife when I was on my way to the shop here, which is, literally, it's like 300 yards up the road, because someone had been asking if anybody had ice for the leg, and I had a big bag of ice left over from the open house. So at 6:47, the squad car was there. I was not of any help anymore, short of getting ice, if that could help. I in my layman's non-medical opinion, cannot fathom that the leg will be able to be reattached. But hey, if they want ice and I got ice, you got all the ice I can get you. And so, I don't know, why am I sharing this with you? Well, part of chip break is kind of I feel like I have to. So here's the funny thing. I didn't have my main set of truck keys with me. It's like the first time in 2 years I couldn't find them. So I grabbed my backup set. Ends up that my main set fell in the little side cup holder of my bag, which is super weird. But my backup truck keys don't have the key to my truck box, and I didn't have anything in there that was going to help this guy per se. I could have used a tie-down strap as a tourniquet. Somebody else had a belt, which is great. But it just made me think that was being quirky and silly, but frustrating. But then here's the other thing, I own what's called a IFAK, individual first aid kit, right here. I just got it maybe a year ago. I got it because if you take any sort of shooting class, they ask that you have one. It's very responsible, and I own it. It was sitting at home, and I also have no clue how to use it, just being honest with you. And there's some, I think, crazier stuff in here. But here's what I am going to tell you guys. Learn how to use a tourniquet. I know it sounds silly and easy and a belt works, but there's a better one in this kit. The kit's kind of expensive. It's a couple $100. Buy one of these or whatever one you want, and watch this video right here, link or card in it. It's not hard, and it's interesting because in this situation the guy wasn't bleeding. Do you apply a tourniquet? I'm not a medical expert, but I'll tell you, if it were, I mean, I didn't know this guy from Adam. I hope I helped. It's incredible to think, I had a really hard time sleeping last night. It's really incredible to think he's in stable condition. Somebody posted on Facebook in response to the news article about it that he's in stable condition. So I assume that that's correct, and that's phenomenal. He was life flighted to Columbus. But I mean, it was about 10 to 12 minutes, I think, before the squad got there. So to not bleed out with a severe trauma like that is awesome. But if I couldn't help but think, if I were involved in that accident, if it were someone in my vehicle, a family member, someone I knew and loved, and I didn't have a tourniquet with me, I would be devastated. So I'm not one of those, like, you got to prepare for every scenario and every crazy thing in the world, but I will, for the rest of my life, carry this little kit in the center console of my truck where it's not locked in a truck box. And let me tell you, tourniquets save lives, and I'm obviously really upset about it. I'm proud that I think kept my cool, and I hope that it's just sort of trying to talk to this guy. He was breathing, he was responding to, when we would talk to him, he was kind of moaning, and it seemed like the moans were in response to us. It wasn't just moaning mindlessly. And so just trying to keep the morale up and talk to him. And I was like, hey, I hear sirens. We're going to make it, bud. You got this. Yeah, so I know that's super off topic, but yeah, good stuff.